Please welcome the laugh-powered Russell Howard!
All right, Russell Howard, Russell Howard in the house.
Wow.
Russell.
What a way of waking up.
You're very welcome to that wake-up call. So, for a while, you came on the show every other week.
Yes.
But now it's been far too long. What have you been up to, young man?
What I've been up to, I've been doing little gigs, getting a tour ready, and being a dad mostly.
Right, congratulations.
So, yeah, it's the best.
Which has been the most difficult / enjoyable?
Well, it's amazing being a dad, but it's proper. Like being a parent is a full-time job, and I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
And do you know the thing? Because I'm 45, I'm an old wizened man. I'm used to being. But I've slept. No, but for my whole life, I've been able to get up whenever I want because of my job. I've never had a boss.
Yeah.
So if I get up at 10, I get up at 10.
Yeah.
Suddenly, that's the thing. They're like the most perfect alarm clock.
And now you can get up. You can try all the options.
Yeah.
2:17 a.m. 3:15 a.m. Mostly a.m.
Yeah,
Mostly pre-7.
But there's what I love so much about being an old dad is when I'm
You're not. By the way, you got to stop that.
No, but listen to this. So when I'm
An older dad.
I'm an older dad, so I'm putting him to sleep. Let's say it's 2 a.m, and I've got him down, and I've just got him in his cot, and I'm just inching away from the bed, and then one of my knees will creak, and it wakes him up.
Not the floorboards.
No, it's just
the knees.
you've got carpet, but I'm like this. I'm literally crawling on all floors so that my old body doesn't make a noise on all floors, but so that I don't make a noise and wake it up. And it's just this moment where in your head you're like going, mate, I've done the O2. I've done all these achievements, and now all of a sudden you're crawling out of a bed. I love it.
It's so funny. Somebody was saying that yesterday about. We had Boris Becker on this week. He's written a book about being in prison called Inside. It's unbelievable. This book is unbelievable. We had him live on Zoom from Germany, and somebody was saying off the back of that when you win Wimbledon, you know, often you'll say, okay, that was amazing today. Where are we going tonight? You know, where are we going for? We're going for dinner, or we're going for drinks, or what are we doing as a Wimbledon champion? Yeah. And then obviously you're at the top of your game, and then you go and play Flushing Meadows, and you do that, or you get to the semi-finals, and it actually just does become your job. You know, a bit like playing the O2. And it's only when you're 50 you go, I won Wimbledon. And you're having that sort of moment now, aren't you? You're looking back a bit whilst crawling away from your son's bed stealthily at 2:15 in the morning.
It must be very confusing for someone if they're near Boris Becker and he suddenly has that realisation. Do you know what I mean? He's in a coffee shop. I won Wimbledon.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
But I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because he was looking back at like time in prison in Wandsworth Scrubs, which was like, people get killed in there every single year. Yeah. And then he gets taken to another prison for foreign nationals, and then he gets deported, which is how he served a shorter sentence. But it's like, what's most real to him now? Is it the terror of being in Wandsworth, or is it the triumph of being at Wimbledon? And of course, it's the terror because of the Sanskara. It's the pain that stays, and the joy just goes off to have a fun day somewhere else.
Yeah, that's why I love hanging out with you. I love these chats.
Sorry, we've gone too heavy too quick.
But I love it.
And it's Friday.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to see Oasis tomorrow.
Oh wow.
We're very excited. Have you seen them?
My wife went to see them.
Right. Tell us about that, and then we'll talk about Stagecraft, because you're going on tour. They're on tour.
Yeah.
They've completely changed what they do and how they do it. How did your wife think they were?
She thought they were absolutely fantastic. She went with her uncle, her brother, and sister-in-law. I was supposed to go, but I did the Montreal Comedy Festival. I was briefly in trouble for that. But I think the fact that I wasn't there made them have a better evening, because they just got loose and then kind of stayed out, had loads of drinks, went straight back to the noughties. I think my wife was kind of swaggering home. Do you know what I mean? It was brilliant.
Yeah,
I think
superb.
you sort of, through osmosis, you're taken back.
And
nothing makes you travel like music.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Or smell, maybe.
Yeah, true.
And the combination of the two.
There's probably some Lynx Africa in that stadium.
Yeah,
and then
I
you're
would say so. Yeah, my daughter went. Obviously, first time around for her. She went twice in the end. She got tickets twice, and she said, "Dad, it was the best night of my life."
Oh wow!
How old is she? She's 37, 38, and she's got 2 kids. I said, "Well, children's, but no, better than that."
Yeah.
And she said it was jumping because apparently the party starts the second you get in. When you go, and we just talked about Take That. They've announced a tour next year, and their support is Belinda Carlisle and the Script.
Oh yeah.
Which is great support, and then Rick Astley's going out as well. When you go on tour, have you had supports? Do comedians have supports?
Yeah, so I've had like kind of mates down the years, and then when you're kind of in Europe or America, you have kind of local acts, which is super fun as well. So you sort of get to hang out with comedians in like Atlanta or Switzerland,
Yeah.
and so you then get a better feel for the place.
And it's, I was listening to Will Arnett talking to John Krasinski.
Good guy.
And they're just so funny, and they just seem to mess about all the time. I mean, clearly they do some work in between, and they've got kids and things like that. And the one was married and one is married and all this kind of stuff. But other than that, they do just tend to, grab a coffee, sit outside a coffee shop, and just have a laugh.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about comedy is you take it seriously, but it's about being silly, and it's particularly in a world where it's kind of why the show was called Don't Tell the Algorithm, because it feels like it's a night away, as Oasis is. It's kind of a night away from machines.
Right.
And a sort of, that's what's so extraordinary about that Supersonic documentary. And I think Noel even says it, that Nebworth gig was the last big thing before kind of social media accelerated everything and made everything kind of like a competition amongst humans. But nights out, that thing of like a comedy gig, whether it's Top Secret or the Comedy Store or, the O2 or a theatre, you're kind of locked. And I've said it before, but it's like a societal orgasm when you're kind of lost and you're laughing together. And to be able to conduct that is the best.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's just an ephemeral sort of bit of respite.
That gig starts, doesn't it? Sorry, that movie starts, or at least the first sort of 10, 20 minutes is the getting of tickets, or people trying to get tickets. Yeah. And it's physical queues outside record shops. And then it's Bakelite landline phones. And there were mobile phones around because we just checked it out. My mate, John Stevens, who was at the Nebworth gig, he loved it. Took them 18 hours to get out of the car park.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And there was no social media, but they didn't mind because you're stuck in the car park. They were on a coach, so there's a party on the coach, right? They had loads of big cool boxes of beer still going.
Yeah.
And so they didn't care they were stuck in those because they was technically still at the Oasis gig.
Well, exactly. I guess the car park is you waking up from the dream you've just had.
Oh, nice.
In some ways, do you know what I mean? That you're sort of, because you're still reverberating and you're kind of remembering it. But that's what I mean. Any kind of gig, and it's so interesting that if you look across the sort of board, we now kind of live on the internet, and yet people go to gigs all the time.
Yeah.
Because we're dying of thirst, of the need for togetherness, and
one of the biggest growing entities in the world of entertainment is the live aspect of entertainment. Whether it's Glastonbury, whether it's like a band in a pub or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's the opposite to get tickets. Your tickets go on sale at 10 o'clock today. So Russell's on to talk about his tour. Tickets go on general sale for Don't Tell the Algorithm. Starts in Ipswich on the 22nd of Jan next year, 2026. It'll be here before you know it. And of course, you just click russell-howard.co.uk, click to buy. Part of the investment of the journey was the getting of the tickets before, and now it can still be as difficult, but it's still only bricks and clicks and screens and things like that, isn't it? I mean, you launching a tour now, I mean, for you, much easier, I would imagine.
Well, I guess that's the thing, isn't it? It's a love-hate relationship with socials, because with YouTube and Netflix, it means that I can kind of do gigs I did gigs in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like 500 people there listening to me in their second language. It's unbelievable. But I do kind of miss that thing of when I was 15 of like sort of thumbing through
Chasing
HMV, kind of going, oh, wow, look, that's, that's a Bill Hicks, Arizona Bay, or, but that, and then passing it around your mates. But I guess that's kind of what YouTube is.
Yeah.
Now YouTube has become the kind of global record store where you can go, oh my God, look at this.
I know.
And pass it to your pals.
For me, the only downside is, and it's ironic that your tour is called Don't Tell the Algorithm, and all the tickets go on sale via an algorithm right now.
I know. Don't tell.
It's beautiful.
Know,
it's beautiful.
So
it's beautiful, and that's where we are. This is, no point in shouting at the weather. That's where we live now.
We use the phones to get there, and then when we're at our things, put the phones down and let a moment become a memory.
Yeah. The thing about the journey is it's like making your own food. It takes time to do that, and all that stuff is for free. Whereas the click and consume thing now, it's brilliant, but it just all costs much more because there's more. It's much easier to do. You don't have to till your own soil or slice your own vegetables, metaphorically speaking. So I miss that bit, and I worry for mums and dads about all that, but that's not your problem. That's the world's problem, I suppose. So the warm-up gigs, what's gone down well? What's not made it? You've had to murder your comedy babies.
Oh, yeah.
What have you murdered?
No, all sorts, really. Like that's the great thing. I was just doing a bunch of gigs I did Maidenhead, like this little northern farm gig. It was like 200 seats. the weekend. I did like an hour and 45, and I don't know, an hour and 20. So there's always extra stuff, but you're kind of panning. They're my favourite gigs to do and watch when you're seeing a comedian try and figure a tour out. But at the minute, there's so much happening that I think you have to keep it in a state of flux. And this, Trump and kind of nationalist marches and kind of everything's going on. And sometimes you feel like there's too much sadness, and then you happen upon something that's so funny. Like, so, if you saw this, somebody painted a snail with a Union Jack flag, and it's just like, to me, that opens up this world of silly inside this kind of screaming rage. Yeah, but the idea that exactly, that you're sending out a snail to send your message, it just got me. But yeah, you try stuff out.
It's all about the journey with the snail.
Yeah, you just kind of. And also, I think from years of doing a topical show, like, if the show was ready now, like, the world will be different by January, and then the show will be different by the end.
You love it as well, don't you? I mean, you love thinking on your feet, and it keeps you engaged yourself, it keeps you engaged in your own gig. And then, like you said, there's so much happening every single day. Would you leave is there a secret between you and I?
Yes.
It's like a 10-minute window that you just leave, like a blank little 10 minutes that you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where does that fall in the show?
This is it. This is what I've got to figure out, that I have to create this kind of black hole for myself.
Where do you think it was best?
Where?
About 2/3 in, or because you got to nail it at the end, haven't you?
You've got to nail it at the end, and you've got to start strong. So yeah, I reckon at 20. If you want to go for a pee, I reckon at 22 minutes.
See, I wouldn't.
Just watch me fly.
I go for a pee at 30 minutes because I want to see the 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. But
is there a break? Do you have an interval?
No. Well, I'll have a support act, and then I'll sort of do, an hour and a half, 2 hours.
What's the biggest gig you've ever done?
The biggest gig I've ever did, I did 10 nights at the Royal Albert Hall and broke the world record, which is insane. And there's a photo of me at the Royal Albert Hall because I've done that gig. I broke the world record for the most amount of gigs, and I look like an absolute moron in it because I know what I'm doing on stage. I'm doing an impression of Farage at that time,
right? But
it looks like I'm just pulling this kind of like arrogant face.
Because in the photo we don't know you're doing Farage.
No, exactly.
Can't you just say to the manager, please put he was doing Farage?
Yeah. But I guess that's not the biggest. But like those outdoor gigs, like you can do kind of. Like, we did some gigs at like Port. There was one in Sheffield, I think. There was like 26,000 people. I was there on the main stage, and it's just so much fun. Like going on first at a music festival on the main stage as a comedian is the best, because it's sort of about 12:30. People are just waking up. There's sort of coffee and bacon in the air. Maybe one red stripe on the go. They're beginning to power up.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel like you're able to kind of light the fire.
Come on.
Yeah, it's the best. And whereas if you go on late at a festival, like, and by 8 o'clock, people are like, look like those things outside garages, and they're all kind of floppy.
And also they're already having their own fun.
Yeah.
You might be interrupting the fun that they think they're having, which they're not really having, because if you watch the video back of yourself in a pub when you think you're having the best night of your life and it involves alcohol, it's like in real life you're moving in slow motion. Yeah. It's when you don't have anything. We talked about this all the time. It's when you have sober fun, that's when you're really going for it.
Yes. Well, do you plan sober fun?
I'm sober anyway now.
No, I know that. But my point being, because you're so positive, do you have to plan your fun, or does it just come to you?
I think that, honestly, getting too boring about it.
It's not boring, it's exciting.
Okay, so we were talking about this the other day, my wife and I, 'cause she's clean and sober as well now. So we have worked so hard sowing the right seeds and watering the right seeds. It's all fun. It's all fun all the time. It's just, everything's easier. It's so much easier.
What I love, because I've met you a few times, like randomly we've met each other out and about. And I remember seeing you and your wife, and you just going for a jog, or you just finished a jog.
Yeah.
And by a jog, I mean like a marathon. It was wild. And both of you were so like, we just run 26 miles. It was so crazy. And me and my missus have got like ice creams in our hand going, oh yeah. Like, but we were so envious. Just thinking, do you think there's ever a world where we go for a jog together?
Who?
Me and my wife.
Well, you're fit anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, but I just can't imagine doing it with my wife.
Yeah, but I'm 15 years older than you.
But it's mad. So are you nearly 60?
I'm 60 next year. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What are you doing? You're probably going to jump out of your own cake.
I don't know. We talked about it the other day. Probably not much.
That's done all right in there.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. No, we'll do something fit. We'll do something fitness. We'll probably go for a game of tennis.
I love that.
I'm not joking.
What about paddle? Have you done that?
Yeah, we love paddle.
Oh my god! I mean, this could be the most middle class chat ever.
No way.
I did it the other day. God, it's fun.
It's the best fun.
It's like bowling with
it's the best fun
with the barriers up.
It's tennis without the square footage that you've been picking up all the balls all the blooming time.
And what is the difference? Because you'll know this between paddle and pickleball.
Oh, well, paddle's surrounded for a start, so you hit against walls. It's a world of difference.
Right, and pickleball, it's just like little mini tennis.
Yeah, pickleball. There's no sort of surrounding you. Yeah, it's mini tennis. The ball can go miles away again. You're picking up balls again all the time. You don't need it.
You don't need that.
I love who invented paddle? My mate's talking about opening a paddle barn. A 24-hour paddle barn where you get a toddle.
24 hours.
Yeah.
See, the world is brilliant, isn't it?
Where you get a toddle, a dongle, and you just tap in and tap out, literally. Because we both used to tap in and tap out in different ways.
Yeah.
This is more positive now.
The idea of like 3 a.m. go for a game of paddle
Why
with your
not?
mate. Yeah.
That's the other thing about being sober. You just do, at 10 o'clock, if you're bored on a Saturday night, go out for a drive. Well, listen to the Commodores. What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing is wrong with that. What's right with that? Everything is right with that. Russell, I'm very excited for you.
I'm excited.
So the gigs are going up. The warm-up gigs are going up. You have an hour and 45. You need an hour and 20, maybe an hour and 25. Yep. Everything's going well. All the material's going well. That means you've got 20 minutes of spare stuff. If you could give that 20 minutes to any comedian, who do you think needs it most?
Oh gosh, what a wild question.
No, I didn't mean that. Don't answer it. Who would you like to give it to?
Oh, I tell you
who might carry off your material?
It's more. That's interesting.
Rob Beckett.
Rob. Yeah, we got similar teeth, I guess. But I tell you what is very interesting when you see other comics.
Yes.
And they happen upon something, and you go, it's so funny. You'll see a comic on stage, and there might be comedians at the back of the room, and they, we don't really laugh, but you'll hear people going, "Oh, that's very good." Do you know what I mean? That's so kind of what I love when you would see something so simple and you go, oh gosh, how have they? Because the best stuff I find is often those, where your brain makes this very, very simple connection. And in your head you go, oh, is that corny or is that really funny? I remember I had a bit about from the last tour, there's lots of new words for old things. And it became this kind of list of mindfulness, sitting still, overnight oats, cold porridge. And it was the very simple kind of duh. But it sort of came...
Open water swimming.
But it sort of came from polyamorous, shagger. But it kind of came from this thing. I saw overnight oats and I went cold porridge in my head, and my wife looks over and I kind of go into this kind of almost like zombie state, and she's like, oh, here we go, he's doing something. But that's kind of what jokes are. I know Chris Martin spoke about that in a similar way, that sometimes they just appear and the joke's very visual. So in my head I saw that, I was like, oh, that's funny, and now what I have to do is find the words to convince strangers of what's funny in my head. That's kind of, do you know what I mean? And it's probably the same with any kind of watching that Beatles documentary, Get Back, that you realise the kind of sort of determination to follow your own kind of creativity. But that's what's so brilliant about it, that he comes up with Get Back, and then we spend hours with him perfecting. It's the best.
Grinding it out. Grinding it out.
But it's kind of not a grind, because if you're lucky enough, whether it's like music or novels or art, you essentially created your own Wordle that you're solving.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it is great. I mean, by the way, I like grinding things out. Yeah. I know maybe it sounds like a sort of a phrase of adversity, but I love it. Give me the grind.
Yeah.
I dive into the grind. What are you doing? I'm busy. I'm grinding. Go away.
Yeah.
Not like the old days. Different kind of grind.
Yeah.
It's different kind of grind going on here.
There's a very different grind in the online world.
Exactly, Russell. You are very Chris Martin-y, actually.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because we're talking about Coldplay. Coldplay, I've got to tell you this. Anybody who's got anything live going on at the moment, they come to the show and I say, that this is true. You know that Coldplay have added some extra dates to their tour. Do you know this?
And nobody knows.
No, they have.
Yeah.
It's out there. Guess how many dates they've added?
50.
138.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's their added dates to an already existing tour.
Yeah.
I mean...
I went to watch Coldplay at Wembley, and
do you know him?
I don't know him, but he's got what I would call big vicar energy. Do you know what I mean? I was so And it's an extraordinary thing when you see somebody and they don't lose their authenticity, and yet they can make 8-year-olds dance and 80-year-olds dance. But do you know what I mean? Without kind of becoming a family band. It was really wild.
Joy.
Seeing kind of all like little kids and grannies and people my age all kind of like swaying along, and then the whole stadium becomes yellow, and again people are part of a moment.
And it's cool. It's not crass. It's not too saccharine.
Because there's
he's
an
like
authenticity.
Willy Wonka, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's the Willy Wonka of music.
But I think that's increasingly that's kind of all we want, isn't it? Whatever you're into, if people speak to you through whatever their work is with authenticity, you kind of, I don't know, you're their pal somehow. Do you know what I mean?
No, I love it. I was at a meeting yesterday, and Chris Martin had the same meeting. Right.
What for?
Something.
Oh,
right?
come on,
no.
Christopher.
Something. And they said this has been really good fun. This is the most fun meeting we've had since the Chris Martin meeting.
Yeah.
And I said, oh. And clearly they were gagging to tell him about the Chris Martin meeting. And all I had to say was, oh. And then they said, what Chris Martin did, Chris Evans, what Chris Martin did is he came in and we all sat around this table. And he gave us all a packet of fun-sized buttons, Cadbury's chocolate buttons. Yeah. He said, these are all for you. I invite you to start eating them now. And no meeting we ever have should have to take longer than it takes us all to eat a mini fun-sized bag of buttons in our own good time.
Wow.
That's such a clever way. That's such a Chris Martin saying, can we just get this over with? Because that's what he's saying.
Yeah, true. But you have to, that's what I mean. You have to have a certain kind of energy.
Yeah.
Because you kind of like, it takes a lot of confidence to walk in with chocolate. But with chocolate. But imagine that. It's like, imagine me going to the bank and going, right, here's a Twix. By the time you finished eating your Twix.
Why did you say the bank?
Well, I was just guessing. But that's the only meeting you go to these days.
Yeah.
I don't know, you might have a chat with a lawyer, I don't know.
When the bank comes a call in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Russell, great to see you, man.
Lovely to see you.
Oh, and love to your family. I'm really pleased for you. And your wife is still being an amazing medical professional.
She is, yeah. She's back to work. She is, she's incredible.
All right, mate. Russell Howard, Don't Tell the Algorithm. When are tickets on sale? 10 o'clock today. 10 o'clock today.
Ole.
The tour starts in January.
It does. Let me just finish this last bit of chocolate. And we're good to go.
Very good.
Yep.
Nice callback. January, we're talking about Ipswich and Nottingham and Warwick and Stockton. February, London, Derby and Bath. March, Sunderland, Liverpool, Plymouth, Portsmouth, Sheffield, Newcastle. April, Manchester, Edinburgh, Glasgow and Oxford. And then it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
on.
What's exciting is so I've toured like Europe and America the last couple of years. So it's the first time in the UK for I think 3 years. So I will be here. All
right. Well, expectations are high, and I know you'll deliver. That's Russell Howard. Let's hear it for Russell Howard, everybody.
Thank
Come on
you.
now.
Thank you.
Russell Howard.